Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on into this week's episode of the Rust Belt Rivalry Podcast. I'm Brian Philos, my co-host Nick Kremchek. We're going to talk a little bit of Browns, a little bit of Bengals, a little bit of Buckeyes as usual, recap the NFL, sprinkle in a little college football as well. Nick, take us away, buddy. What do you got for us?
Yep. We'll talk about also who's hot and who's not going into week 5 of the NFL. And I'll share a couple locks that I have too. So let's get going, man. I'm excited.
Let's do it, baby. So you had a tough week to watch in the Bengals game Monday night. What do you have to say? You have some things to get off your chest. Let's hear it.
Yeah, we're bringing that nickname back, the Bengals. That just was again an absolute disgrace. Completely embarrassing, especially on national television. Broncos had 512 total yards of offense, while the Bengals had 159 yards of total offense. That cannot happen. You have the weapons on offense, and I think a lot of this has to do with Zach Taylor. He is showing his true colors of what kind of coach he is without his star quarterback and Joe Burrow. I want him on the hot seat, man. You cannot continue to do this and just get embarrassed week after week. He's completely losing the locker room, I think, too, which is the other big part of it. It just seems like nobody wants to be there. I mean, they had more penalties last night than they did have first downs. It's just completely unprepared 2 weeks in a row. Jake Browning looks horrible. 2 weeks ago, I thought, that we might have a chance here with Jake Browning as our starter. And boy, was I wrong, man. I feel like what he's doing, he's just looking at one read. Like he knows who he's throwing to before the snap. And it's hurting him. And that's something that Joe was really good about. He's able to really see the field. But like I said, Jake is just kind of in that mindset of like, can't turn the ball over right now. Like, let's make the safe. Let's just look at the receiver that I've been that I was looking at before the play. And it's not going to work, man. The Bengals are making these teams that they play look so much better than what they really are. I mean, the Broncos had 7 penalties for 72 yards, which was not good at all. They had mental mistakes. First time in 33 games that they have had a 100-yard rusher, and Bo Nix had a career high of like 312 yards. It's a disgrace, man. And it starts with coaching. I really want to see a couple people gone in this organization, but unfortunately, I truly think Zach Taylor has the safest job in the city of Cincinnati right now, and it's sad. But
why do you think that?
Just their track record, man. I mean, you look at how long Marvin Lewis was the coach for Cincinnati. He didn't win a single playoff game. I think he coached here for what? I think it's 18 years. It's just, the Bengals are looking like the 2019 Bengals before they had Joe Burrow. And then what happens after that? Joe's making everybody else in the organization look like they know what they're doing. I'm sick of it. My wife and I are actually going down to Cincinnati for the Lions game on Sunday. And I feel like we might be leaving that stadium at halftime. I'm a little concerned. But yeah, like I said, man, it's panic time in Cincinnati. Like the ship is going down. And honestly, I think at this point, you got 2 tough opponents coming up against the Lions and then the Packers. I don't see them winning either of those games. So it's time to start selling. Like, I would start listening to trade talks with Trey Hendrickson. I just start getting rid of all of their coaches if they can. It's horrible. It was just last night was so infuriating, and I can't believe I'm actually saying this in the month of almost October, but hey, Cincinnati, at least we have the Reds to cheer on.
Hey, baby. Well, welcome to being a Browns fan every year. Holy cow. 4 weeks into the season and you're already miserable.
It's what it feels like, Brian. It's extremely frustrating, and I haven't really been used to this the last couple of years. I've been a little spoiled with Burrow, and it's just at the point where I can't continue to watch it at this rate, or else I'm gonna I'm going to have some mental issues, I think.
So
Some mental health issues.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. So I've seen a lot of rumors, and I'm sure that's pretty much all they are is just rumors, right? But I've seen a lot of rumors floating around about Russell Wilson going to the Bengals, about Jameis Winston, XYZ quarterback. Is there any quarterback that seems feasibly out there that you would actually entertain, that you think might turn things around for you, that's feasible?
Bring back Andy Dalton.
Whoa, rifle.
No, he would not want to, honestly. He would reject that trade if he could. He doesn't want to come back here after the way they treated him at the end. But no, honestly, I think Russell Wilson's washed, man. I've heard Jameis Winston's name floated around. Whatever. If you could do something for cheap, it's not going to hurt anything. But unfortunately, I think that the Bengals' mindset is, they have Mike White as their backup right now. And, let's play him, if Browning continues to struggle. I just totally can see that. I just feel like the Brown family, they're just going to concede the season because of what's been happening with Joe being hurt. And they're not going to try to turn this season around. I have zero faith in that happening. But yeah, they should, man. They should try to go out and get somebody. Why the heck not? What's it going to do? It's not going to hurt anything. It can't get any worse at this point, Yeah,
no, I saw Chase and Higgins on the sideline there. They looked real happy with this outcome of the game.
Yeah, man, it's horrible. Jamar was showing some frustration with Zach on the sidelines too. I'm sure you saw that. And I don't know, man. I just feel like Zach has no idea what to do next out there. He has no plan. And man, I just want a coach that is just not afraid to get in these players' faces and say, let's do your job. Zach is just so soft. And you see that at the beginning of the game. Like they had a 4th and 2 on like the Broncos 10-yard line or something like that. And they kicked the field goal. Like, look, I get you're on the road, man, but it's more and more teams are going for it in that situation. And it just doesn't work anymore. I mean, he's not aggressive enough. They're going to have the Lions coming in. The Bengals can't get off the field on 3rd down to begin with, but the Lions, they're going to say, hey, we're going to come out on 4th down and go for it. They're not going to be able to stop them. So It's just, this week is going to be very interesting to see what happens in Cincinnati, but there's going to be a lot of fans that I think they're going to be booing pretty damn early. So we'll see.
Well, not much more exciting things in the Browns world, obviously, as you know, now that we are officially 1-3, and then full panic has hit the streets of Cleveland. Yeah. Man, what a bring back down to reality after that game against the Packers, which was a miracle in itself. Here comes the right back down to reality moment. Joe Flacco, he started it off hot, man. The defense held him to a 3-and-out. Then the Browns drive right down the field and score 7 points, and then a clearly scripted, classic Kevin Stefanski opening drive. We're up 7-0, and you just felt like for a half a second, maybe as a Browns fan, that maybe we could sneak something here. Not a chance. Every drive after that was just stale. You've got interception after interception, strip fumble of Joe Flacco. He just looks terrible out there. There's just nothing positive when you're looking at him. I had mentioned on my TikTok about how frustrated I was with Jerry Jeudy, who on a ball that he fell down that was intended for him that got picked off, instead of him continuing the play and trying, he just sat there and went looking for a flag, arguing with the referee while the play is still going on, and the Lions almost scored a touchdown on that play. So that frustrated the hell out of me. And then I've got all these other Browns fans arguing with me that, Joe Flacco sucks. It's not Judy's fault. And I'm like, number one, it's an effort thing. So you can argue with me. I'm like, I agree with you that Joe Flacco is terrible. But to see your number one wide receiver just continue to drop the ball, lead the league in drops in 2024, and now so far in 2025 is just embarrassing. Only positive we have on offense right now is a former Buckeye, Quinshon Judkins. And I really think, unfortunately, I'm really not going to be surprised if Isaiah Bond is the best wide receiver on this team by the end of the year.
Whoa.
It's just, he's only had very little time to practice with the team. He's had very little chemistry, very little reps, but he's got the speed. He doesn't seem to drop the ball. Even though he's a rookie, he seems to be way better than Jerry Jeudy right now. Maybe that changes when they bring in a different quarterback. I don't know. But, another week that the defense held their own. They continued to stuff. I mean, the Lions did get 119 yards of rushing yards, but it wasn't this typical two-headed monster, the Sonic and Knuckles that they call him. Montgomery was, I think, held to under 10 yards. Gibbs did have a decent day, but in the grand scheme of things, the defense really didn't give up a whole lot. For the most part, they were on the field for the most of the day, and they had only given up like 20 points, I think, until early in the fourth quarter. So once they got gassed, and then the offense started turning the ball over left and right, it was kind of a no-brainer. But
well, you've got good news. You found out good news today about your starting quarterback coming up, though, right?
Thank goodness. I don't know that it's great news. I think well enough now that I am not a huge Dylan Gabriel fan, but I'm also of the mindset that we've seen all we're going to see from Joe Flacco. And, the floor is the floor at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe with a little mobility at quarterback, the ability for the RPOs and the, running out of the pocket, maybe something looks a little bit better. Probably a kind of under the radar move for the Browns as well this week. They made a trade with the Texans for left tackle, Cam Robinson, former first round pick from a million years ago and been on like teams. So not a whole lot of excitement there, but at least it's something. Again, what we've seen at left tackle so far has just been abysmal. So the Lions obviously stomped on the Browns, and now we hand them off to Cincinnati to do next week.
That's crazy fact too. So the Lions defense has given up a first drive touchdown every single game this year. I think that's pretty darn impressive. And then for them to just kind of figure it out, along the way and, take care of business. I mean, you mentioned they have 112 rushing yards. I would expect them to double that on Sunday at a minimum. So we'll see.
Yeah. Watching the highlights from that game on Monday night, I would not be surprised. That defense looked like Swiss cheese.
Embarrassing, dude. Yeah. Every single draft pick that was on that defensive line, I don't think they won a single pressure, not one. And that just shows how bad they have drafted the last 5 years or so. It has been god awful. And I don't expect there to be changes. It's just the way Cincinnati runs the team, it's just the way the team is ran. And it's infuriating as a Cincinnati sports fan. I don't know, man. Hopefully they can turn it around a little bit here, but I can see them getting a top 5 draft pick at this point if this is what they're going to do week after week.
For sure. Well, let's move on to some other maybe somber news around the league. There's a few major injuries that happened this weekend. Obviously, Tyreek Hill. We'll be releasing this on Wednesday, so this would have been 2 days ago. He sounds like he's out for the year. Malik Neighbors. Another torn ACL. He'll be out for the year, which is unfortunate because I was really excited to see what him and Jackson Dart could come up with. Braylon Allen, backup running back for the Jets. Doesn't sound like a major thing, just a few weeks, but something to keep in mind there because it seems like Breece Hall can never stay healthy. And then Carter, some kind of shoulder injury. Apparently, he went back into the game, but now is expected to miss multiple weeks. Out of those four, I mean, what's the biggest impact to their team? Do you think out of those few from the weekend?
I mean, I think that Miami missing Tyreek Hill is obviously going to hurt. I mean, Tyreek seemed like he was happy to get out of there. Which was extremely weird. I don't know if it was just like him being in shock from probably how much pain he was in, because that did not look fun. Giants have nobody else to throw the ball to. So and like you said, I was looking very much forward to seeing the chemistry with him and Jackson Dart. So I would say either one of those two is definitely going to hurt, but both of those teams aren't playoff teams in my opinion. So it is what it is, right? Next guy's got to step up.
For sure. And speaking of the Giants, there were two pretty big surprises, I would say, in the NFL as far as wins this week. And the Giants were one of them, beating the Chargers. The Falcons also, even with the backup quarterback, I don't think anybody had them winning over the Commanders.
Yeah.
Which game was more surprising to you? Was there? What do you see for the future of those two teams?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Giants was definitely probably one of the bigger upsets of the week. It's, the Chargers, I think, were 6.5-point favorites going in. Look, every single team's going to have a bad week. It happens, The Bills did not look like the normal Bills early against the Saints. Obviously, they still won the game, and that's all that matters. But you're going to have weeks like this. I think the Chargers game, I don't think anybody's overreacting with the Chargers losing, honestly. Playing a quarterback that no one's ever seen yet, too. I think that's actually definitely benefited the Giants, too. So I think the Chargers will be just fine. Honestly, I thought a couple of other games, too. I'm shocked that the Chiefs beat the Ravens that bad. 17-point victory for the Chiefs. Lamar left the game with a hamstring injury, and I think he's going to be missing some time too. But yeah, the Packers tying the Cowboys. Packers should have lost the game, honestly. That was a crazy ending. But yeah, a lot of action this past week for sure.
Yeah, it was definitely a fun week. Let's talk about some other bad teams. What are you seeing in the Titans? 0-4. Not that anybody's really surprised by that, but I don't put up any points against the Texans.
No, and somehow they honestly sometimes look better than the Bengals, which is crazy. Look, Cam Ward has struggled. I get it. He's a rookie, and there is not a lot of talent on that team. But it starts with the coach, Brian Callahan. I don't see him surviving the month of October. I think that he is going to be fired. He is already, I think last week was the first week he gave up play calling for the offense. So I don't think that Tennessee is going to fire him right away after that. But, Brian Callahan, for anybody that remembers, he was the offensive coordinator for the Bengals for years with Joe Burrow. And again, the Joe Burrow effect. Joe makes teams makes people look better, than what they actually are. And when I saw that hire for the Titans, I was like, that is not a good hire. It's just Brian Callahan is not a head coach. And I mean, this is going to be his last time being a head coach in the NFL for sure.
Yeah.
It's truly amazing. And you've seen what's going on with Zach Taylor right now too. So truly incredible how much one player actually makes a team or, everybody around him look as good as they do.
So let me ask you this. We didn't discuss this prior though, but if Brian Callahan does get fired, and his dad, Bill Callahan, obviously would leave as well. What do you think what do you think is more likely of a reunion? Bill Callahan and the Browns offensive line coach or Brian Callahan offensive coordinator with the Bengals?
I don't see Brian Callahan coming back to the Bengals.
No.
No. I don't see it happening. I think it could be a reunion in Cleveland.
Well, I think Cleveland Browns fans would rejoice because our offensive line play before and after him has been absolutely dog crap.
Yeah.
Anything else from last week's games that stood out for you? Anything else you want to talk about before we skip to the week ahead?
Oh man, I really thought the Buccaneers were going to pull that one out. That was
nuts, dude.
What's that?
I thought you were nuts.
Dude, I told you, man. They didn't look good at first, but they were finding their way back. Just a couple of mistakes at the end of the game. I still think the Buccaneers are going to be fine. I mean, that was without Mike Evans, so I still think that the Buccaneers are a very solid playoff team this year for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with you. I know Baker Mayfield, and he doesn't do well when things aren't all going well, right? When he's playing ahead, he's fine. But when he's playing from behind, unless it's a bad team, he's not really great under pressure. And yeah, you mentioned Mike Evans, and I think Chris Godwin was out too. So
yeah, they're going to win the division. I mean, the Falcons and Panthers and Saints are in their division. Like it's their division to win. And I don't even think it's going to be close. So they're going to have that home game most likely in the wild card. I mean, look, yeah, Baker's stats: 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 289 yards. Yeah, he didn't play great, but they still kind of won the game. So almost won the game. Sorry. So yeah, I know what you're saying about Baker, but man, I still think that he's going to shock a lot of people here. I really do.
Okay. Well, let's look into the week ahead here. I've got a couple games circled. I'm sure you do too. Looks Thursday night game. I think it's going to be a good one. Rams 49ers. We've got the Broncos and Eagles. I think that's going to be a pretty good game as well. And then team we just talked about, the Buccaneers, got flexed to, I think, 405 to play the Seahawks, which will be a battle of, 2 former first-round picks that didn't work out in their first stop or second or third stop, and here they are on their, I think, both on their 4th stop. So out of those games or any of the other games, what are you looking forward to the most?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Broncos-Eagles game is going to be pretty good. Honestly, I think the Eagles win by a touchdown. I think the spread's 3.5 right now, but I think everybody's looking at the Broncos against the Bengals and saying, man, they look really good. Not how it works. The Bengals make the other teams look better than what they really are. So I think the Eagles win that game pretty easily. Honestly, another one, Patriots versus the Bills. I don't know why. Again, it's Sunday night. It's a night game in Buffalo. I think New England could make this one interesting. I mean, what are your thoughts on that one?
I mean, I don't think it would be crazy, right? The Bills are currently sitting 4-0. Nobody's going to have a perfect season, right? It's a division game. Mike Vrabel, head coach, and I mean, it's only his 5th game with the team. I think it's very possible that there's an upset there. I don't think that's crazy at all, but like I said, I'm just really excited for the Thursday night game. I hope it's not a blowout, but
no, I think that will be a good one too. I mean, I'm just looking at the schedule, and Chiefs Jaguars on Monday night. It's 2. I think the Jags are 3-1. It's Kansas City coming off a big win. This will definitely be a test for both teams because I think Jacksonville's a little bit better than what people are giving them credit for. We'll see what happens there, but that should be a good one too.
Yeah, for sure. And then this is the first week where we've got a few teams on the bye. You've got the Bears, Falcons, Packers, Steelers. Obviously, probably a lot of people out there playing fantasy football, so check your lineups. Make sure you cover yourself for the bye weeks there. And then, so you'd mentioned the Lions are coming into Cincinnati. You'll be at the game.
Yep.
Little preview of the game. What are you looking forward to? Anything?
So it's Stripe the Jungle in Cincinnati. So each section is wearing either orange or black. When it works, it looks really cool. In the past couple of years, they've done it. It has worked really well. Don't know how it's going to turn out this week. I think there's going to be a lot of blue in the stands. So keep an eye on that. Look, man, this game could get out of hand very quickly. I just think the Lions offense is just a juggernaut, and the Bengals are going to have no idea how to stop it. They look so damn slow out there. They can't tackle. Their corners aren't even close to the receivers when they catch the ball. They have zero pass rush right now. Trey Hendrickson did nothing last night in the game against the Broncos. It might be close for the first quarter, man, but I think the team total for the Lions is 29.5. I would take that. I'm putting that as one of my locks. That's a lot of points for one team, man. But I mean, you look at this Bengals defense, and it's just the whole team. It's not good. I don't know how long they're going to keep Jake Browning in for. I mean, if this game goes south at halftime, I could definitely see them saying, Mike White, get in there, which would just be crazy. It's just, I don't know. Should be really nice weather. I'm going to get some Skyline chili in me, so I'll be happy regardless. Might have to have a few more Miller Lights than normal, though, to survive the game.
Oh my goodness. Well, yeah, I would say watching what the Lions did to the Ravens, who I think are a much better defense than the Bengals, 29.5 is not that crazy.
Yeah.
It's just, I was just thinking about it. I think our second podcast, how high you were on Jake Browning and how he was 4-3 as a starter and all this. How far we've fallen.
I mean, I don't know what's changed. The offensive line isn't helping helping anything with him, but I feel like he's just leaving that pocket a little too soon. And like I said earlier, he knows where he's throwing the ball before he snaps the ball. And you can see he missed a decent amount of throws last night. So it's extremely frustrating to watch that. But he's going to have to figure it out pretty darn quick. It's a short week. I mean, he's a starter. Get out there and take care of business. But the way that these guys have been prepping, I don't know what the Bengals do at practice anymore these days. I really don't. For both the 2 weeks in a row just to look like that. So, I don't know. I'm sad that this is, again, another primetime game. I think Tom Brady's on the call here on Fox. So, boy, not good.
He's pretty good at trying to put me to sleep. I'll tell you that. And the Browns head into London to play the Vikings this week, which I think is funny. So let me throw this at you. So here's the Vikings have been in London for like 2 weeks already, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're basically not. They're already there. They're already comfortable, and here the Browns have to travel from a game on Sunday to London, and then this week also the Steelers have a bye week.
Yeah.
So this week they go to London to play the Vikings. Meanwhile, the Pittsburgh Steelers have a bye week, and then we play the Steelers next week. Like, is this still like the NFL sticking it to the Browns for the Deshaun Watson thing? Like, or is that just me being a pessimist Browns fan?
I think it's a little overreaction there on your part there, Brian.
You think so?
I don't know. I guess I could kind of see your point there because it is a little bit of an advantage for the Vikings to stay there. I mean, when did the Browns plan on flying out there? Like Thursday, maybe? I don't know.
I haven't even looked.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if you're the Browns, you got to, play your game, and you got to not worry about that kind of stuff. And they got a rookie quarterback that's going to be starting. That's going to honestly be a very interesting game to watch. Is that at 9:30? Is that what time it starts?
Yes.
Okay. Love that.
I will not be game show before that. That is too early for me. I mean, really, I'm really excited about it, regardless of the outcome of the game. What I have been hearing from the beat reporters and people that are close to the Browns is that due to Joe Flacco's limitations, that the playbook was not fully open. I think you could pretty clearly tell that if you're watching the games closely.
Yeah.
So I'm just excited to see what Dylan Gabriel can do with Kevin Stefanski's offense. I think he will probably not open up the whole playbook his first week. But like I mentioned earlier, I mean, he can move in the pocket. He can throw on the run. I think it's going to be a lot of what we saw in year one with Kevin Stefanski and Baker when they first got together. A lot of rollouts, a lot of play action, a lot of RPOs. What we all thought this offense was supposed to look like with Joe Flacco, but obviously, he couldn't do it. And I don't think there's anything that's going to hold Gabriel back, right? My only concern is his height. Hopefully Kevin Stefanski can work around his height, and maybe it could be like a Drew Brees, Russell Wilson type. I know those are high hopes and probably highly unlikely, but my question for you, I guess, as an outsider, a Bengals fan, how long of a leash do you think that Dylan Gabriel gets? I know the Browns want to probably see what both him and Shedeur Sanders have in real live action.
Yeah.
So what would you see from an outsider's perspective?
I think you're giving him the entire month of October. I think you have to do at least 4 games. I think that's fair. That's what Joe Flacco just got. I think four games is a decent amount of time and tape to really see what you have. And I get it. I still think we're going to see Shedeur for the Browns before the end of the season for sure. But I mean, it's not going to be easy games too for Dylan Gabriel. Like you said, you got to fly out to London and then you got to go play the Steelers. So that will be a challenge of its own. But yeah, I would say the month of October. I mean, what do you want to see out of Dylan on Sunday?
So, I mean, I think it fully depends on the offensive line. I mean, if the tackles are Swiss cheese again, I think it's going to be hard to evaluate no matter what he does. But I mean, I'm just expecting to see quick passes. He's supposed to be this quick processor, right? That been in college for forever and multiple systems. So, hoping to see more deep shots. When guys are wide open, I'm hoping that he actually hits them right instead of maybe check down Charlie. Those are the main things I'm looking for. And again, if the tackles are Swiss cheese still, you're not going to be able to tell a whole lot. Yeah. But again, if he can move the pocket, Kevin Stefanski can scheme things for him. Maybe like a light game, maybe 2 touchdowns, 1 interception or less. Maybe 225 yards. Okay. That would be I think for his first. Fair. That would be awesome, right? So that's what I'll be looking for. And again, I would not be surprised if Cam Robinson is your starting left tackle. It's not listed that way right now, but it's just not been good over there.
So real quick, Brian, before we get into college, I want to ask you, who are your top 3 teams from each conference right now?
Yes. So we'll start with the NFC. I think that one's a little easier. AFC might surprise you. So NFC, my top 3 teams right now, Lions, Eagles, and Rams, which I was very high on the Packers. I was still high on them after the Browns game, but that performance they put up in Dallas, I was like, nope, this ain't it. So those are my 3 teams. You have anything different?
No, Lions and Eagles for sure. I was going to say Rams too. I still like the Buccaneers, man, but I think I do think that the Rams are a little better than them right now. But yeah, I would agree with you on those top 3.
I would love to see what your opinion was of the Buccaneers if they were in a conference that was not complete dog crap.
Touche.
But let's check in. Let's see, is there any differentiation? What's your top 3 for the AFC?
So I'm going to go with the Bills at number 1. And I'm going to go with the Chargers at number 2. And I cannot believe I'm saying this, but I'm going with the Chiefs at number 3.
Oh,
Um,
man.
I just, especially after the win on Sunday, they're starting to warm up a little bit. Xavier Worthy's back.
Hmm.
Our division, man, the AFC North is just, I don't believe in the Steelers yet. They haven't played anybody. They got a tough stretch here coming up. And then the Colts and the Jags, I'm not believing in, them being a top three right now. But yeah, like I said, I think I like the Bills, the Chargers, and the Chiefs right now, top three.
Okay. Only difference I have is I don't have any faith in the Chiefs still. I know
Okay.
Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. I still think, even what they did with the Ravens, I'm still skeptical. And as crazy as it sounds, and you can probably clip this for later in the year, I think right now, I think the Colts are a top three team in
Danny Dimes.
I mean, it is crazy watching the difference in the team. And I mean, they've got Jonathan Taylor. They've got a decent defense. They've been surprising the hell out of me. So,
Yeah, no, I mean, that's fair. They have a pretty decent stretch of easy games coming up too. So we'll see if they can take advantage of that.
yeah. Yeah. So, before we close out here, let's talk a little college ball. We both watched the Washington Ohio State game.
Yep.
It was not as close as we were worried it was going to be.
Yep.
Obviously, the guys got off to a very slow start. I think that was kind of game planned almost a little bit.
Sure.
Had the training wheels on, so to speak, on Sayan because of his first road game. What were the big things that stuck out to you in that game?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I feel like Ohio State has definitely had those slow starts in the first half. They have a history of that. But then they make those adjustments in the second half, and they came out and took care of business. So great win for them. I think they're definitely going to be able to keep the momentum when they play Minnesota this week on Saturday. But yeah, I mean, no, Sayan looked okay. I mean, he looked a little uncomfortable in the first half. But they were definitely running the ball a lot. I know we talked about that earlier to start. So yeah, I still see good things. I mean, their defense is legit. So they are definitely the number one team in the country. I don't think anybody can argue that right now.
And what about that defensive line? Like losing Jack Sawyer, I thought they would take a pretty big step back. I was
man,
blown away.
Monsters. I'm with you, honestly. I mean, they have been getting after the quarterback, and they have been able to stop the run pretty darn well too. So it's a very fun group to watch. So looking forward to seeing it the rest of the season.
Yeah. I mean, that was crazy. I mean, the way they were handling the running quarterback, you wouldn't even know that kid was a running quarterback. I mean,
right.
The way that they were talking in the broadcast pregame was like, that's the next Lamar Jackson. And I mean, they held him in check, man, between McDonald, Curry, and Kenyatta Jackson Jr. I was just, like I said, I was just blown away, man. That was wild to see.
Yep.
And other games that were pretty fun to watch this past week. You had mentioned the Alabama-Georgia game. I was locked in on the Oregon-Penn State game Saturday night. I thought both coaches were playing very conservative for the most part of the game.
Yeah.
Which drove me freaking nuts. I'm a big Drew Allen fan, even though 99% of the country is not. And blown away watching the conservative play calling from James Franklin. And as soon as he cranked it up, as soon as he took the lid off the bottle, it was like, bam, 60-yard drive, touchdown right away. Like 5 passes. It was just insane. I'm like, what do you keep running the ball like 3 of 4 plays for? To me, his coaching is the main reason that they keep losing close games like this.
I agree.
What are your thoughts on James Franklin that game and touch on Alabama and Georgia too?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, he can't seem to find a way to win those big games. And obviously, I mean, Penn State and the school they're getting pretty fed up with it. So yeah, I mean, they're going to have to figure it out pretty quick. They got Ohio State coming up in a couple weeks. But yeah, I am not a fan of Franklin. And honestly, if he keeps, I think if he loses against Ohio State, man, they're going to be, I think they might be looking for a head coach after this year. So we'll see. Yeah, the Alabama-Georgia game was very entertaining. I honestly thought the Bulldogs were going to win this one, but I mean, hats off to Alabama to, come in there and honestly really shock Georgia. So I love that game. It's a great rivalry. I feel like it's always competitive. So yeah, very good game.
Okay. And this week coming up ahead in college, we've got Ohio State playing Minnesota. They're currently favored. Last I looked was like 23.5.
Yep.
A couple other games we had our eye on: Miami, Florida State, Vanderbilt, Alabama. Anything you expect to be crazy different in the Minnesota game, or are you expecting another double-digit blowout?
I'm expecting another blowout. Yeah. Just be careful, all you Buckeye gamblers out there. Just try to stay away from Ohio State in the first half. I know it looks tempting, but it's, like I said before, they like to start slow. So, but yeah, that should definitely be a blowout.
Okay. All right. Well, before we got a couple things before we wrap up here. Let's do some bold predictions and then talk about your locks of the week. So, what's your bold for this coming week?
My bold prediction is the Bengals score a touchdown on offense. Yeah, no. So I say, yeah, I think the Bengals. I think my bold prediction is the Bengals score 2 touchdowns against the Lions. And people can make fun of me all they want, but I think they've been outscored 74-13 the last 2 games. So I don't see why that wouldn't be a bold prediction. What about you?
I think you're crazy, but sometimes we speak with our hearts, right? We're fans at core, right? So, and you're probably going to think I'm just as crazy when I say that the Cleveland Browns win another football game in London.
Oh boy, here we go.
Dillon Gabriel, the Browns not only win, but they put up 24 points. They break this streak of like 18 games or whatever it is of scoring less than 20 points. Dillon Gabriel unlocks the offense. The defense is reinvigorated by not having to be out there for the whole dang game. Joe Flacco watches from the sidelines, and all is good for 1 week. Okay. Not for very long, but for 1 week. Things look great in London against the Vikings and a Carson Wentz-led team, I think. So what locks of the week? You already teased us a little bit earlier. What are your locks of this week coming up?
Yep. So love Detroit team total and the Cowboys Jets over 47.5. Love that game just because, again, Dallas has no defense. But I think they'll be able to put us some points against the Jets. So I'm surprised it's only 47.5. I was expecting it to be over 50. So I'm going to take that. And honestly, another one I'm really looking at, like I said earlier, I think so. The Eagles are -3.5 against Denver. I think they cover that. Give me the Eagles -3.5.
Okay. All right. Well, that's going to wrap us up for this week's Rust Belt Rivalry podcast. Browns fans, Bengals fans, maybe not so much to look forward to, but Buckeye Nation, definitely a lot in store for the future, right? Nick, take us away. What do you got, buddy?
Yep. Thanks, guys. Make sure you subscribe, leave us a review, and hit us up on social media for our takes as well. So we'll be back next